What inspires change? What motivates us? It's what's inside that moves us. What moves you? Get the Scion story at Scion.com.
And they finally put us to collections.
In July?
And middle of July. The last payment that we received was around the 12th of July. And we normally receive an average of about $1 million a month for Medicare. And so if we only receive $70,000 in July, all of a sudden, not receiving that money from Medicare put a big hit on cash flow that we normally receive.
GMH CFO Alan Ulrich telling PNC News last Wednesday that the last Medicare payment received by the hospital was on July 12th. That's when the U.S. Treasury started garnishing roughly $1 million a month in Medicare reimbursements from the hospital, the single biggest factor in plunging GMH into its current crisis. Yet no mention of that was made just 2 weeks later on July 24th when GMH held a press conference announcing reaccreditation from the Joint Commission.
I'm here to proudly announce to you that, and the people of Guam, that GMH has been fully reaccredited for the Joint Commission for the next 3 years.
The current financial crisis at the hospital poses a risk to that hard-won reaccreditation.
We can't trick our way into being accredited, you know? I mean, if the situation was that dire back then we would have been able to respond to it more timely if we had known. But because we're getting these very mixed messages, you know, accreditation and bells and whistles, and then all of a sudden crisis, you know? That's not the way that we should be managing the government.
Democratic Senator Mike San Nicolas and fellow Democrat and Health Committee Chair Senator Dennis Rodriguez put the onus on the governor for not acting quicker to face the looming crisis at GMH.
The governor needs to get a handle on communicating with the legislature these kind of things in advance, because we go into crisis management mode too often and it causes us to have to react. And when we react, it's not very well thought out.
The legislature will do its part like we have been doing. However, the hospital as well needs to do their part. They have over 200 million in collections. There's some value to that. And so they need to go out and aggressively collect, you know, and also the government agencies that owe the hospital, the governor needs to make good with those and make payment to the hospital.
However, the governor, who transferred $1.2 million to GMH last Friday so employees there could get paid, says he has now exhausted his transfer authority and he needs lawmakers now to act.
Right now we've run out of spending authority. And again, I want to congratulate the Republican senators. They saw the issue. Unfortunately, there was a rush session. I was supposed to meet with Senator Pangilinan that day. But be that as may, we're going to move forward. I intend in our administration to work with the senators to solve this issue. And we're going to solve it very quickly.
4 Republican senators voted against the now vetoed Budget Bill number 177 last Thursday night, in part because of their concerns that the budget did not address the GMH crisis.
We had an opportunity to address that in this, at least for next fiscal year, in the budget, and we didn't do that. And that's why many of our Republican senators voted no on that, for the very reason that we were there that same night that we voted. But for right now, since we're still in the current fiscal year, we do need to rely heavily on the transfer authority of the governor to see what funds are available in his executive branch, to see what can be done.
We're going to exhaust all avenues to make sure the hospital is up and running and stays up and running and keeps its accreditation.
Kevin Kerrigan, PNC News.